All set? Okay. Here's the 16th, right? The 15th.
It's the 15th, yeah.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Village of Monroe's October 16th 15th board meeting. Days are just flying by. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, just a little housekeeping. In an emergency, you can exit through the door that you used to enter or our rear exit here. Okay, we'll do a quick call to order. Trustee Berenger.
Berenger's present.
Trustee Carl.
Carl present.
Trustee Marty, O'Connor.
O'Connor present.
And Mayor Dwyer is absent and Trustee Ferraro is here. Okay, first order, I should actually call order to open the meeting, shouldn't I?
Yes.
I have a
Berenger make the motion that we open the meeting.
Carl will second.
question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye?
Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Great, we're starting. Okay, department reports. Any questions on the department reports? Do I have a motion to accept the department reports as submitted?
Carl will make the motion.
O'Connor will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye?
Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Okay, we need the approval of the meetings from October 1st.
Berenger will make the motion.
Carl will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro abstains.
Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, budgetary transfer. Hopefully everyone has read it. Any questions? Can I have a motion to accept them?
O'Connor will make the motion.
Carl will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye?
Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Okay, Sacred Heart, under old business. Resolve the Board of Trustees approves the request of Sacred Heart Church Holy Name Society to provide a Christmas nativity display in Crane Park for the Christmas holiday. Coordinations will be made with DPW Working Leader Chapata. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Carl will second.
Call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye?
Carl, aye.
O'Connor, aye.
Town parking. We're going to order 2 more kiosks to fill a void going towards Carpenter on Lakes and by the police station on Lakes. So resolve the Board of Trustees authorizes Mayor Dwyer to sign an agreement with Devo and Associates LLC for 2 additional Flowbird metered parking kiosks to be placed in the downtown business district in the amount of $15,336.15 to be allocated from the Construction Downtown Improvement Board bond H3397-2000 traffic control park equipment, and that'll be put in the form of a motion. I have a second.
O'Connor will second.
Discussion?
Any discussion? Go right ahead.
Yeah. Is this the same company that laid these out for us?
Yes, same exact stuff. We
They
just
didn't-
ordered 2 more.
Yeah, well, I understand that. We didn't order them yet, right?
Not yet, no, this is
vote
what we're
on.
giving them the approval on.
How are these parking meters? I know I asked at the last meeting. How are they working out for us? Are we getting much feedback?
Other than 1 or 2 complaints, I've heard that maybe the credit card part didn't go through, but minor, but that's about all I've heard. Have you heard anything from police or?
No, I haven't.
I haven't heard anything else.
Because I know when we initially discussed putting these kiosks in, and they were going to be laid out in a way so that they do get the sunlight for the solar panel
Solar
itself.
panels.
Now, when they want to put these two additional ones, where are they going to be, and are they,
One is that right here by the police station, that way, feeding that way. And the other one is a little further on Lakes, feeding towards Carpenter, that way.
all right, but are they set so that the sun will get to them to charge the
Well-
batteries in them?
They're the ones who are supposed to do the engineering part of it.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
well, I guess that's my question, because in the beginning, they're the ones that laid this whole thing out for us, and now we have a.
Are we
have a
having
void.
issues
Well, are we having issues? I haven't heard
with
any.
the solar part of it?
I don't know, but if they laid this thing out initially for us and said, this is what you need, and now they're coming back, or somebody's coming back and say, oh, by the way, you need two more.
Well, I think it's more of getting a little more coverage. People are, that are parking down that way don't know that they're supposed to walk all the way over and to the nearest kiosks, so they're just trying to make it more convenient. That's about, I think, all that's being done.
I'm just a little confused, because when they came in here and sold the product on us, they told us exactly how many we needed. Now we have a void.
I wasn't part of that discussion.
Well, they
We
came here-
could approve this with further details before it's actually implemented, something like that?
I think not, because this is to purchase the two.
Right.
So if there's any question about why they need to be purchased, that has to be answered, I think, before this resolution.
Okay, so you just want to table it for now?
Well, that's up to the board.
Just table it?
I don't feel comfortable
Okay.
spending $15,000 when,
When we
I
have
don't know
questions.
how the rest of the board feels, but I think we need more information on this.
Okay. So it's, we'll table it. Okay. Memorandum Agreement, Village of Monroe and the IBEW Local 363. Resolved, the Board of Trustees agrees to memorandum of agreement with the IBEW Local 363 for the addition of the title classification to the Highway Department of Building Maintenance Mechanic to follow the same rate of pay with the position of HEO. And we'll put that in the form of a motion for discussion, anyone? So in motion to discuss?
Well, I'll make the motion.
Okay,
O'Connor will second.
for discussion, anyone, question?
Just so long as this new title gets put into
Yep.
the.
As discussed earlier today, that's
Yes.
exactly what's happening, absolutely.
Because,
Correct, it's,
yep,
yes.
as long as that's in there, I don't have a problem with it.
So. Call,
Call the question. Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
RLI,
O'Connor, aye.
Okay. All right. Appointment DPW, full-time building maintenance mechanic. Resolved, the Board of Trustees approves the recommendation of Mayor Dwyer and the working leader Chiapata and appoints Neil Musson, 32 Bar Lane, Monroe, New York, to the position of full-time building maintenance mechanic. Mr. Musson has been pre-approved by the Orange County Human Resources. Effective date of hire is October 31st per hour, 2024, at the following scheduled pay rate and increases as per IBEW contract: $38.80 per hour to start. At completion of 6 months of service, $39.80, and after 1 year of completed service, $42.02 per hour. And that'll be put in the form of a motion.
Berenger will second.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carly.
O'Connor, aye.
Welcome aboard, Neil.
Do we have a start date?
31st. That's Halloween.
Okay,
You gotta come in costume.
congratulations.
We're gonna keep you busy. Okay. Payment in lieu of parking. LM03 Realty LLC, Somni Restaurant. Resolution modifying the payment in lieu of parking plan granted by the Board of Trustees to Somni's Restaurant. Whereas subdivision B of the section 200-35 of the Village of Monroe zoning law authorizes the Village Board of Trustees may waive the on-site parking requirements for a one-time payment in lieu of any or all on-site parking spaces required for a particular use as determined by the Planning Board. And whereas on March 5th, 2024, the Village of Trustees granted a one-time payment in lieu of parking waiver to the property located at 15 Lake Street, identified on the Village Tax Map as IBL 207-1-15, also known as Somni's Restaurant, pursuant to 200-35B of the Village of Monroe zoning law, and in conformance and establishment fee schedule as said and waiver. And whereas pursuant to 200-35B, the Board of Trustees has discretion to structure the payment in any way that is acceptable to the board, so long as the full payment is received. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Monroe hereby modifies the payment in lieu of parking payment plan for LM03 Realty LLC, also known as Somni's Restaurant, to $300 per month for 53 months, and a payment of $350 on the 54th month, for a total payment of $16,250. Be it further resolved that the condition of the waiver resolution, which states that in any event the final payment is due no later than and as a condition of issuing a certificate of occupancy, is hereby rescinded, and the building department is authorized to issue a certificate of occupancy, notwithstanding any outstanding payment due the village. Be it further resolved that this parking waiver is specific to the use of the property as a restaurant as finally approved by the Planning Board. Any change in use or expansion of the restaurant use shall require the then owner to reapply for a payment in lieu of parking, at which time the Village Board may require an entirely new payment or may adjust the payment according to the new use or expanded use. Be it further resolved that the resolution is contingent upon the property owner's acceptance and acknowledgement by his signature below, that should he default on any payment in lieu of parking fee or portion, therefore the village may, after providing a reasonable opportunity to cure, assesses the payment or payment due against the property, which assessment shall become a lien thereupon collectible in the same manner as delinquent village taxes. And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Carl will second for
Discussion.
discussion. When is the first payment due? Would it be prior to the CO being issued?
Well, I think, I couldn't really know for sure. I would assume that as the occupancy is put in, is that when the first payment is done?
Yeah, because he's not going to be able to open until the certificate of occupancy is issued. And I don't think it has been, is that correct? It has not yet been issued. Okay. So we can modify this at the board's pleasure to say the first payment is due 1 month after the certificate of occupancy is issued?
Okay.
Is that?
That sounds good.
As long as we have something in there when the first payment's due, that's, and then the 54 payments will follow that, or 53 payments will follow that.
I would also note for the record that there is a signature that needs to be added to this. So first of all, the restaurant owner must sign this acknowledging that if any payments are missed, it can be charged against the property and collected as if there's a tax. So that opens the property owner up to foreclosure if he misses these payments. Now, the village would give him an opportunity to cure any missed payments, but he's going to have to sign this resolution acknowledging that he understands this.
When you want him to sign it, he's here.
Well, no, it has to be notarized.
Okay.
So he can come into the village. So then, Kim, you'll just add a complete with his signature. Yeah, whereas and be it further resolved that the first payment shall be due the month following.
Why don't we, how about we just, upon issuance of CO, that the first payment is due?
Well, I mean, you can do that, but it's better to have a time frame so he has a month to pay it. In other words, if you say that, then if he's 1 day late, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Usually you get a month to pay, so, okay, so it would be
So it would be,
1 month
30 days?
30 days.
After the issuance of the CO, or?
from the date the certificate of occupancy is issued, and each month thereafter, you know what I'm trying to say. So if it falls on, I don't know, December 1st, you know, if it's issued on October 1st and he pays on November 1st, I'm with the wrong months, but you get the idea. So let's say November 7th, he gets his CO. The first payment is due November 8th, December 8th.
December 7th.
Then, right, the next payment then is due a month later, so.
Yep. All right, as long as we got that
In
memorialized
increments
in
of
here.
30 days, and each payment is due thereafter in increments of 30 days from.
Just as long as that's memorialized in here, that's all I'm looking for.
Okay, so call the question.
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, I.
Carly,
O'Connor, aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yep, congrats.
I just got a text from the mayor, as we all did. I'd like to read it into the record, and we might be able to move forward with the kiosks. Okay, 14 are recommended. 10 kiosks were ordered to see and assess the location and coverage area. 2 have now been identified and should be added. Sun coverage was calculated. Each kiosk has daylight requirement for up to 4 hours max required over use, which sleeps when not in use. So he's saying that 14 were originally recommended. They only ordered 10, and he's ordering 2 more now to fill in the void. So does that answer your?
that answers
Yes.
my question.
Okay, so can we go back now and vote on that? Okay, call the question then? Oh, well, let's first,
Maybe.
yeah, reread it?
Just, should
Want
we
me to
just say I
reread it?
make a motion to approve the Flowbird?
Why don't we do, Elise, do I reread it? or-
Reread it
Okay.
and do the process again.
Just got to amend the motion that we did. Or rescind it, and
Well, you didn't.
Well, we didn't
really-
make a motion, we
that's
just.
right. we-
Kinda
we- yeah,
tabled
we
it.
said
We just
that.
tabled it.
That's
Okay,
correct.
so once again, resolve, the Board of Trustees authorizes Mayor Dwyer to sign the agreement with Devo and Associates LLC for 2 additional Flowbird metered parking kiosks to be placed in the downtown business district in the amount of $15,336.15 to be allocated from the construction of downtown improvement bond H3397-2000. Traffic control, parking equipment, and that'll be put in a form. Motion.
Berenger will second.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
Ferraro, aye?
Carly,
O'Connor, aye.
Okay, so, and our very heavy schedule is done. So the mayor is not here, and I have nothing. Trustee?
I have a couple things. There's some really good events coming up, and I think sometimes people are always looking for things to do around our area. I know that the town of Monroe has their food truck festival this weekend, and Trunk or Treats October 26th. Also Smith Clove Park, they have a fall festival on November 2nd. And I know when I looked at that, there's music. I believe I read Hayride. I would say check out their website. They have a turkey trot also, and I know it used to be Thanksgiving weekend. I believe this year it's the Sunday before, November 24th.
Yes.
I'm actually thinking about trying to run that one. But I was just going to say, if everyone just wants to check the websites and see all the things that are going on, there's a lot of great activities around our town and village.
Couple things, hydrant flushing has commenced, and it'll be going this week and next week. And we do that 2 times a year. And just a reminder on the Halloween curfew that's coming up, and there'll be notices in the paper on that. And then one of our most popular things is come November 1st till April 1st, no on-street parking, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if there's more than 1 inch of snow on the roads during the day. So that's all coming up relatively quickly.
Yes, it is.
We got stuff from the park, Smithclove Park. Do we want to
Right,
discuss that?
yeah, we will in a second. We will bring that up. It just says, Marty, do you have anything?
I'm good.
Okay. Yes, we do have Chris Sullivan here from the chairman of the Joint Parks, here to answer any questions that we may have concerning their budget. So, do you want to start there?
Well, I met with Chris the other day over in the park, just from some, things issues that I had brought up at the our last village board meeting, and again, to Chris, if it was taken the wrong way, I certainly apologize, and I just hope that the dialogue all the way around, we all communicate, and I have asked, I know, Andy, you're the liaison, but if we can all get copies of their minutes, so emailed to us so we have them, we can read them. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of happenings in that park. It's a busy park. My concern is to make sure that the park is properly funded. And I said that before, and I'll say it again, so that we can move forward and get some projects going in there. And they have some stuff on their agenda next year that they're looking to do, and I don't want to steal their thunder. I'll let them, Chris can speak about that. But I think you had the one, I looked at it, but I'll let you answer that question, Andy, on the,
Chris, my concern, I have on their personnel services, for the, you have for, hold on a second, here it is, seasonal. Define the seasonal to me. I want to make sure I don't say anything out of line.
Seasonal hire?
Well, it says here personnel seasonal, and you have 18,000.
part-time.
Before we even get into the budget, what the park has traditionally done is we've asked for a workshop from the village and the town, and that hasn't happened. So I'll answer any questions you have, but we generally like to do a workshop with you guys. Not in a meeting, but I'll answer any questions you have. A seasonal hire would be, in the summertime, obviously, we have more work, more grass cutting, more leaf blowing, whatever, we have the leaf coming in. So we would generally hire someone, whatever the season consists of, April through October,
Right.
and just work those months for the season.
So, and that's the way I interpreted it, and you have 18,000. That park is big and there's a lot to be done. I just think that's a little low. That's my feeling, with a lot of the work that should be done. I speak, to Ken, and I see what goes on, and I really think that you should up that. I don't know how many people that equates to. Is that just one person extra?
Usually we hire one this
Yeah, so, easily 2 more to ease up some of the burden and get things done. So I'd like you to reconsider that.
Yeah, well, to your point, we've also considered, as opposed to getting someone seasonal, hiring a 4th full-time position. Because in the past, we've had 5 guys full-time.
Okay.
We're running with 3 right now, plus the seasonal. We have 1 leaving, and then we're gonna hire our seasonal right now as a full-time employee, but that'll still keep us at 3. One thing we are discussing, and that's why our budget, our salary budget did go up, because we are considering getting a 4th maintenance for all year round. So then we don't have to do the seasonal.
That would be great. I just think that would help out.
Yeah. Because we'd like to have somebody there all 7 days out of the week. So with 3 guys, it's kind of hard to have somebody there Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Even though we do it now, but it'll definitely be easier if we have a 4th guy. fourth person.
Great.
Any other questions, anyone?
We had on the insurance, that was what.
Oh, the insurance, yeah.
About the insurance.
You have insurance, $10,000. I know you fall under the village's insurance. What is that $10,000? What is that insurance that's listed?
So I'm pretty sure the way it works is some of the equipment falls under the village, and then we have our own. We have our own insurance for our fields. I think you guys insure them. I don't quote, well, I'm not 100%, but I think the way it works is you guys insure the play equipment, and then we have a general liability for the fields. I think that's the way it works. But we can clarify that with Chris, and Chris will know the answer to that. But I know for a fact we have a separate policy outside of the village's policy.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to thank you. Smithfield Park means a lot to me. I grew up going to Yak. I worked at Yak, my kids went. I spent a lot of hours with sports on those fields. And I'm definitely interested in a workshop. Is there a rule like on how many people could go to that, or what would that?
So generally, we would have we wouldn't have a quorum. We have a budget committee. We would just have our budget committee sit down with whatever trustees or whoever wanted to be there. But yeah, we would probably have 4 of our commissioners and then whoever would want to attend.
Okay, and I do thank you, because I know your commission is volunteer, and
Yes.
I know that that's not always an easy thing. Thank you.
Anything else, John? Do you have any?
No, I mean, like I said, I took a nice walk with Chris the other day, pointed out a few things. And one of the things we talked about, I don't know, Chris, have you given any thought on relocating that road we talked about? Did you take any look at that, or?
So I have to, obviously we have to meet as a board. I did talk to Ken about it a little bit. He thinks it can work. We'd have to move some earth around,
Yeah, well,
but it's definitely something to consider. Yeah, the way that the road goes up and makes that dog leg right, we can definitely straighten that out. But yeah,
and go right down,
straight down by the stage, yeah.
and then that could open that one area up to possibly, expand that one practice field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the road that
Oh,
goes
yeah,
up to
The road that goes up to
It goes
the,
up to the
Goes up to the
towers.
Yes.
It goes right past it.
yes.
And we were sitting there looking at it, and I says, when you get up past that pavilion on the hill, it goes dog leg right.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
sharp.
Yeah,
I said, if you could take that and take that straight down behind the bandstand
yeah,
and connect that road down with the back road that
Yes.
goes out. Now you don't have that road in the way anymore, and you might be able to, yeah, there's some material that have to be moved there, but I mean, it's something to look at. It could possibly work. So. But we support the park. There's no question about that.
The park will be inheriting all of the stuff that we have now at Airplane Park when we start to improve that park. So everything that's there will go over to Smith Clove.
All the jungle
All the gym equipment, everything but the turntable and the plane. That's the only 2 things that stay there.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, thank you for coming.
thank you.
I'm here for your questions.
Is there anything you want to toss at us, or?
Yeah,
The park has come up at your last 2 meetings, and we're not here to answer your questions, so that's why I wanted to come here and discuss whatever you guys want to know about the park. It seemed like a couple issues have come up. I'm here to answer your questions. If it's about football, if it's about maintenance of the fields.
I think there were definitely questions about the field use,
Yeah.
and
it's-
something about January was thrown around. Can you
Yeah,
kind of
so,
explain that?
yeah, so I mean, I could probably definitely clear something up. It was, I'm not sure why, but it was made seem as if it's first come, first served. That's never been first come, first served. I'm not sure why it was made seem that way to the public. We have leagues that have been using that park for 30+ years, and those leagues are grandfathered in. We've let newer leagues in, like lacrosse and newer sports, and they don't fall under those grandfathered protocols. There have been newer leagues that have tried to come in, whether it's travel leagues or a secondary, let's say secondary baseball league, and we've held the belief, and it's in our protocols, that we don't allow a second soccer league. We don't allow a second baseball league, a second football league. That's always been the way we've done it. It's in our protocols. And it just, it's not only is it for, the public, that we don't want a second league taking up more field time away from the public, it's also wear and tear on the fields. I mean, you go to that field now, it's beat up, that field 4, our main field. In April, that thing is green, it's beautiful, but, you know, we got soccer, we got lacrosse, we got football, and we have, well, Little League doesn't use that field, but yeah, I mean, by the time October runs around, it's beat up, so, to put a second league on that field, whether it's a second lacrosse, or a second soccer, or a second football, would really beat that field up, and it wouldn't work, the way we currently do our scheduling. So it's tough to get everybody in there, but we try and get every league an equal amount of playing time. But as far as a second league of the same sport, we try and avoid that if we can.
Chris, what's your thought, if we could take that practice field up in the back and make that a full-size field and rotate those fields? So, you know, instead of pounding one all the time, you rotate to the other one and you close the other one down.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that
So we do that. So soccer uses that top field, football uses that top field, and what they do is they'll rotate their teams. One night somebody's up top, or 2 teams are up top, and 3 teams are down on the main field. They definitely rotate. They also rotate. If you look at the field, there's what used to be left field. They use that area, so they're not beating up the same goal line. They use the middle of the field, 50, so they're not doing drills in the same area. But no, there are leagues, soccer, football, lacrosse is done now, but they all use field 6, which is the top field behind the basketball courts. It's constantly in rotation.
Thank you.
Artie, anything?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to just discuss briefly what was brought up tonight about the local law. This local law 10 of 2023 was enacted as part of a bundle of local laws when you updated your comprehensive plan. So the assumption, of course, is that during all the meetings that you had, this local law was essentially requested and approved by the board. So I guess also I'm a little confused because what this does is it limits off-street parking places, right? So it defines eligible areas to park, which is right here. Areas which may be computed as open or enclosed off-street parking spaces include any private garage, carport, or other area available for parking other than a street. A residential driveway in a front yard shall count for no more than 1 off-street parking space for a driveway with a width of at least 10 feet, but less than 18 feet. While driveways with a width of greater than 18 feet may count as 2 parking spots. Okay, so that means if you have, of course, a wide driveway and you can get 2 vehicles there, that's fine. It's counted as eligible off-street parking. Then it defines ineligible areas, number to be maintained. Ineligible areas include loading space or maneuvering area. Okay, can't use those. Number to be maintained, the required number of off-street parking spaces and loading spaces shall be maintained through the existence of the use. Now, those are old.
Right.
Those have been there since 2017.
It's more about the
Well, let
commercial
me just
part.
finish. Off-street parking. If the planning board determines that, now this was amended in 23.
What are we talking?
This is general provisions. This is general provisions, okay? Number maintained, off-street parking. The planning board has some discretion there to modify these parking requirements somewhat. Now, E, which is what you've highlighted here as a problem, I assume, right? E
So it's
was
a question.
Well, E was replaced, that is no longer in effect. What's in effect is this, all this down here.
Okay.
So the new E basically says that for the purpose of this section, general vehicles and equipment regulated herein are any self-propelled or towed motor vehicles used on roads to transport passengers and property, including any of the following. It says first, commercial vehicles defined in 43.5A of chapter 43, and that's where you get the 85 pounds, okay?
One of those are allowed.
One is allowed.
Okay. What about
Okay, wait, so I have to go through this or I'll mess it up. Any vehicle which requires a commercial registration. These vehicles exceeding 20 feet in length. Trailers and similar carriers towed by vehicles for commercial purposes. Vehicles designed or used to transport more than 10 passengers, including the driver, with or without compensation. Any vehicle or trailer which is used in transporting material found by the U.S. Secretary of Transportation to be hazardous. Any vehicle for which a commercial driver's license is required. Okay, and then the following commercial and oversized vehicles and equipment, landscaping, construction as defined, shall not be parked or stored on any lot in the SR20, SR10, URW, or URM zoning districts where they exceed certain thresholds, okay? So I'm not sure, okay, and then
so see
also M, which was added in 23, only a single driveway area 20 feet wide may be used for parking within a required front yard on any residential lot. So I'm confused as to why this can't be, why the building department is saying that it cannot be enforced.
a pickup truck or an enclosed van may not be in excess of 20 feet, will definitely not be 8,400 pounds, but it'll be a commercial and it'll have a commercial equipment either in it or on it, ladders or so. That registered commercial. So technically, the way that's written, those are allowed, as many as they can squeeze onto that driveway.
That, I do not read it that way.
You don't read it that way?
Not
Okay.
at all. So, and again, we just modified section 40, chapter 43 for that 8,500 pounds, which this board looked at ad nauseum and agreed with. So if there's a contradiction between what this says, what chapter 43 says, and what the board wants, you must tell us, and we can modify the code, assuming it's permissible.
So
But-
what you were discussing earlier, and what I see often are multiple commercial vehicles parked in a driveway.
Well,
In less
only
than
one
8,400 pounds.
driveway, only one, first of all, you can't park, if it's a required front yard, you can't park there.
No, I'm saying a driveway. In a driveway that's maybe 18 feet wide, and it was built that
Only
way.
a single driveway area can use it parking on any residential lot, so
Yeah.
now it's getting too warm.
Yeah.
I know.
That's it.
All right, so I would simply say this. Please have the building department tell me specifically why they can't enforce this,
Okay.
because I don't read it that they can't enforce
Joe
it.
property owner decides to take a dump truck load of stone and dump it in his front yard and park a vehicle on it. That's not prohibited. Or it is prohibited.
Well, I'm not gonna answer that question off the top of my head, but I would assume that it's not.
This is what's going on.
You,
They're widening driveways illegally.
well, then they're violating the zoning law,
Yeah,
because they're not, if they're doing it illegally without a building permit,
correct.
then there should be a stop work order, and they should be made to put it back the way it was.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with this. That's completely separate.
Well, I will check with the building department, where they
I'll keep
park,
this.
yeah. Where there's 6 or 7 or even 8 commercial vehicles parked all the time, next to each other, parked.
Okay, well,
And-
I don't know how much more we can put in the local law.
Okay, let's
I
get a
mean,
definition.
the issue is, you're either gonna enforce it and you understand what the point is, or you're finding some kind of technical loophole.
Loophole, okay.
Now, if there is a technical loophole that the planning consultants and I have missed, I want it pointed out to me.
You're gonna talk to the building department?
Yes, I
then,
will.
Andy?
Yeah, and the code enforcement, find out why.
All right.
Okay, okay.
And
Public
that
comments?
was from the building department or from
Code
Ron, or
enforcement,
From Ron?
yeah. Any public comments? Do you have something to say? Come on.
All right, we added that. I added this to 43.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lorraine Loning, and I live in the village of Monroe on Ironworks Road. Parking seemed to be a theme this evening, and I'm going to stick to it. I want to talk about parking in the Central Business District, particularly on Mill Pond Parkway. Recently, the meters on this road were removed and kiosks were put in. This change has led to people changing how and where they park on Mill Pond Parkway. I've made it a point to drive by that street several times a week at different times of day, and I witness very few, sometimes no cars parked in the pay-to-park area, and cars are piled up in the free section down by the movie theater and up Smithfield Court. In addition to the kiosks replacing the previously metered spots, it also replaced the 3 free spots by the library. In the past, with the meters, folks who parked there fed the meter, and occasionally it was nice to get gifted a little extra time when someone pulled out and, oh, I have 20 minutes, I can go drop my book off or get a pizza or something like that. So people are not adverse to paying for parking. I mean, I've fed the meters lots and lots of years. I think they are adverse to paying for it this way with the kiosks. There's a need to download an app, which is difficult for some folks who are technologically or economically disadvantaged or challenged. I don't believe the signage is effective. I know that if you're going into the library, the nearest sign is way down the other side. So when you pull in and you don't see a meter, it's perfectly reasonable to assume that it's free parking. At least that's how I feel. And I've also heard, although I haven't experienced this, I have heard that feeding the kiosks is zealously enforced. I mean, like giving tickets a lot. I would like to suggest we zealously enforce the no standing in the fire lanes at ShopRite or in front of UMac more zealously than parking on Mill Pond Highway, because that's a safety issue over by those parking lots. The Central Business District in Monroe is a little substandard to other neighboring villages. So I would think encouraging foot traffic via free parking would be something to consider. Historically, this board suspends the fee to park system during the Christmas holiday season. I'm assuming this is as a way to make shopping more appealing in the Central Business District. I don't really understand why attracting customers is less appealing in September or March or any other month. As a frequent library patron, I am saddened to see many other patrons of the library, some elderly and others with young families, now parking much further away than they used to. I see them parking down in the free section. I would hope that you would reconsider giving those free spots back to the library. I know they're not the library spots, but that was essentially, you know, you'd pop in and out of the library there. I am not a fan of having to pay to park in the village. Okay, those are our roads, those are our streets. I'm not really sure the purpose of the meters. Is it a revenue grab? Is it, I would like to know the economics of this. I just heard you're gonna buy 2 more kiosks at 15 grand. You have 10 others. You have parking personnel. You have vehicles. What's the break even of this operation? Like, Why do we have parking meters?
I'll tell you what if you'd like to know.
Well, let
When-
me finish, please.
Go ahead, finish.
And I know that this is a board that is not super in favor of taxes, even if it's to give residents services. But I would like you to consider maybe selling parking passes. I would happily hang a little tag on my rear view mirror or a vinyl sticker in my window. You know, I'll pay a fee and then I don't have to deal with these damn kiosks, because it's a pain in the neck. I have to download it. It's different, and I know, like, hey, I'm getting up in age and I don't like different, you know? So I don't know, I was hoping that you would, I don't know, maybe it is working. I don't see it. I see when I go to the library, people are parking way up the hill on Smithfield Court and trudging down the library. And there's all these spots wide open here. So I'm not sure it's working as you guys intended it to. And
It actually is.
It is?
Because if you recall, when there were no kiosks and the meters were removed, people would park there all day. So no one can do business in the village because the spots were taken all day long. There were no spots available. So by putting those kiosks in, all those cars suddenly disappeared and there's spots available. That's why we brought it, to bring business into the downtown, which disappeared as people, owners, business owners, or employees of the businesses would park all day long for free. So now they don't, and there's spots available. I know I've driven down this place before these meters, there was no spots to be had. And I had to park all the way down the road only because to get a spot. That's different.
I'll tell you, that's not my experience. Whenever,
Well,
yeah.
it's
So, I mean,
working. It actually is working.
And the break even
And
on
as
it?
far as the, I know our code enforcement people, the traffic code enforcement, they are diligent at both ShopRite and Stop and Shop and all of them. They are doing a great job, and more so than ever, dealing a number of tickets, issuing a number of tickets. So they're doing a fantastic job. We praise them often because of how hard they're doing and working. So I know that part is working as well.
It's two part-time PEOs, parking enforcement officers. It's two of them, they're part-time, and their shifts are scattered about, so, but there are times, you're right, when they're not on, and the regular officers are busy running calls, but when they're on, you know, they'll sit in the parking lot and they just get them, but.
I've seen them a lot by Dollar Tree, but it's hard because they could probably work full-time and be given out all day long.
Getting back to, before the meters were put back in, you couldn't find a parking spot during the daytime on Lake Street. And sadly, most of the vehicles that were parked there were the owners of the stores. And it, you know, and the parking meters, even back when we had the old mechanical ones, they were basically there so that you came, you put your quarter in, click, you went in, and you got back in your car and you left. So the next person could come in, have a parking spot after you, and the same thing all day long. So it kept things fluid. But when the parking meters went out, when we were putting all the new sidewalks and curbing and stuff in before the kiosk, it was terrible in town. And you know, half the people I knew, the owners, and they're what you're hurting yourself. You know, you're hurting yourself by doing what you're doing. As far as breaking even or not, the main thing is just to keep things flowing so there is parking downtown. So you see a parking spot, you can go in, you pay, you go do what you gotta do, you get in your car and you go home. Or go there,
Well, there's lots of spots now.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. And if signage is needed, and I haven't used one of these yet.
This is
not
new
here.
technology,
It's
so.
all new technology, so if
I get
signage
it.
more, explaining it more clearly,
That would be
or maybe
very
something has to
helpful.
be sent out to all of our residents, we should look into
I
that.
noticed there's green paint, like I know over here there was.
Yeah, everything's color coded,
Yeah.
but, you know, I'll take a look at the signs myself and see.
Well, I'll go through the signs and try and see how complicated it is. I've used them other places, and sometimes they're simple, sometimes they're not. They will accept coins, by
I
the way.
saw that, yeah. the
Yeah,
other
you
day.
can throw quarters in, it'll work. So you don't have to always use the app.
Yeah.
yeah, so it is,
Definitely look into more signage, because,
I will,
you
yeah.
know, when you're parked by the library, I keep bringing that up. The
we're
nearest
getting a lot-
sign is way down
Yeah.
by the theater, and
We're getting a lot of the apartments above all the storefronts, parking cars in the street, leaving them there. And these were the tenants, and, you know, we're supposed to use the back parking lot for
Right.
that. And they were parking in the street thinking, hey, this is great, you know? But it has opened up parking, so. You know, it's a work in progress. These kiosks are new and they scare a lot of people and, you know,
what's the ticket cost, by the way?
what is it, $25 ticket?
I don't even know. I don't know. Do you
Oh,
know?
it's in our,
I don't know.
I thought it was,
How much?
I thought it was
15?
for some reason.
$15.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? No? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Berenger will make the motion.
Carl was second.
Call the question?
Berenger, aye.
For ROI.
Carl,
O'Connor, aye.
Thank you all. Good night.
To keep it high so that it goes in waves.
Yeah, it went from cold to
To like
hot.
take up this.